Hello, Astro friends, known and yet unknown. This is Melanie on April. I almost said March. April is here, April 3rd, 2023, with the Astro weather for the week, which is the Easter week and the full moon week, the week of the pre-Easter full moon, which comes on April April 5th or 6th, depending on where you live on planet Earth. So a lot of full moon energy is building up now, especially lately. Let's take a deep breath and connect with the air element. The full moon will be in Libra. It's the first full moon of the astrological year of spring, in other words. And it's in central Libra, central Aries. With the sun in Aries, there's currently also Jupiter and Chiron. I show you what I mean by that. So here is the full moon chart. Ta-da. So you see on the side of the sun in Aries with Chiron and Jupiter opposed by the moon. Okay, you can see it. Here we go. Opposed by the moon in central Libra. What a dynamic. And Mars is almost in between. Mars, the ruler of Aries, now in Cancer. In early Cancer, not quite the T-square, but maybe noticeable by you anyway if you're sensitive, because Mars in a way links the sun and the moon. Mars is in the sign of the moon, which is Cancer, and it's the planet of Aries, which is Mars, right? So there is an energetic link, even though it's not technically exact, that square, but you might feel it. So what's with that cardinal T-square full moon? We have now, from the Libra side, a lot of necessity and real need for culture, harmony, peace. What's with the whole dynamic of war and peace? Libra and, or in other words, Aries and Libra. Aries is a sign of the warrior. Libra is a sign of contracts, sacred marriage. Aries is also the hero archetype, and Libra is the theme of sacred marriage, of relatedness, of peace, of negotiation. That whole theme of peace negotiations would be quite critical with that full moon. And maybe also due to Mars in between being basically a really strong push by the people of the countries, which is again Cancer. Who wants war at home? Literally Mars in Cancer. If war happened on our ground, would we want the people of the world to fuel that and to deliver more weapons, or would we rather want peace? So yes, peace can have a price, because negotiation is not a gain for one, but it needs to be a coordination of interests, which is the Libra theme. So yes, there's a lot involved, and I'm not an expert in all of this, but I see the dynamics, and I can feel also what might be involved for those who are actually on the receiving end. In other words, the people of the areas where war is currently happening, anywhere on planet Earth, especially where all the focus is. So, and Jupiter, Sun in Aries, also shows us that actually this has been such a belligerent year, since Jupiter's been in Aries last year, 2022, already for quite a while, and now is the last month of or last 6 weeks of Jupiter in Aries. Jupiter will actually go into Taurus on May 16th out of Aries. Jupiter also enhances and helps us shed awareness on the Chiron in Aries theme, which we've had since 2019 and which will be still on till 2027. So I just again show you that dynamic here, right? So here is Jupiter, the Sun, and Chiron all in Aries, opposed by the Moon in Libra. So that Jupiter enhances, makes everything bigger, expands the theme of Chiron in Aries. And now also with the Sun, there's a highlight on that, and there's an invitation for consciousness around this. What's with Chiron in Aries again? You probably hear me talk about that often, since it's really important and has also been quite a backdrop for the whole medical crisis we've had since 2019. And at this point, we see mostly the wounds and the trauma that happens through war, literally. And Chiron is wounded healer, so it has to do with wounds, and also through awareness there can be healing which can help, which can inspire others. When we understand, when we have been there, basically. And I should also say, from the missing link here of that T-square, Mars in Cancer, if you had the full Grand Cross, you would go into Capricorn, and Capricorn has to do with ancestors. So in all of our ancestral lineages, there has been war. And so what does that trigger genetically, and how can the wounds of war be finally healed? What is required in each one of us? How can we turn the wound of Aries, of being a survivor, or being in a battle, or being the only one here? How can that turn into a medicine? What is actually the medicine of Aries? Medicine of Aries is being present, being brave, being bold, being authentic, showing up for oneself, showing up as oneself, facing what is here rather than faking on the Libra side or denying, right? So this is the Aries, a presence that it in itself is very healing, but it doesn't have to be basically being in a battle, right? Or constantly fighting something to be seen for who you are and such, right? So the full moon brings a lot to the light, and also currently there's no planet retrograde still until the 21st of April. The first planet that goes retro will be Mercury, and that takes us to the Mercury news. Mercury entered today, April 3rd, Taurus. Came out of Aries, where, also Mercury has been in Aries in the last few weeks, and the mind has been sharp, fast, but also turning to conflict and assertion. And now now Mercury in Taurus for quite a long time, until June, yes, until June 11th. Why is that so? Because Mercury will go retrograde on the 21st of April, as I said, till May 14th. And Mercury will go only like half into Taurus, around 16 degrees, on the 21st, until before it goes retrograde back to like 6 degrees. So especially if you have anything around central Taurus, or also central Leo, central Scorpio, central Aquarius, all the fixed signs, this Mercury station on the 21st of April, which is also very early Taurus, will affect you. And so, what's with this Mercury in Taurus? Mercury in Taurus brings much more the body, the senses into the picture. So we also receive lots of information via our body and our overall senses versus just the head, the mind, right? And it's also learning from nature. What's going on in nature right now? How does everything in spring bloom and settle and arrive in the expression of new life? How can we also be fresh and present and grow towards the light and be in a state of ecstasy as the plants seem to be and bloom and openness? So there's so much to learn from nature, and nature can also help us to be free. Why am I saying that? This is astrologically the theme of Uranus in Taurus. I mean, there's many themes, but this is a really beautiful inspiration by Uranus in Taurus, also since 2019, in this case till 2026. And this Mercury here will almost meet Uranus on the 21st of April before going retro. And then in forward course, we'll actually meet Uranus on June the 4th. And Uranus in Taurus is on a problematic side, on a traumatic side. So Uranus has to do also with trauma because it's about disruptions, shocks, surprises, accidents, anything that takes us out of a state of basic security and basic stability, I should say, into the instability and the inconsistency, the unexpected. It's like expect the unexpected, right? So, really a challenging situation where the rug is pulled under our feet, so to say. And on the positive note, Uranus in Taurus can help us to wake up and to say life is now, just like with spring. Everything is new, and a lot of sense stimulation can happen, and we can be really inspired, renewed, and enlivened by that. That is an example. And now we're coming into the Taurus season here soon. But first, Mercury is already in Taurus since today and will meet Uranus. So our mind can slow down, be more grounded, and also be in expression of joy and freedom by being spontaneous and being alive. So Uranus in Taurus, approached by Mercury as of today in Taurus. What else is going on this week? Let me just double check my itinerary here. I'll post that later on too. The outline basically for the week. We are now in mid-Aries, I should also say. Yes, today, April 4th until April 10th is Central Aries, which has a Leo undertone. Why is that so? Because there is the system of decanates. Each 10 degrees of the 10 degree segments of each sign, I should say, are related to, have undertones of other signs in that same element. Early Aries is double Aries. Mid-Aries has the undertone of the central or fixed sign in the fire element, which is Leo. So what's with this Leo undertone currently? Which you might also notice in people whose birthday is between March 31st and about April 10th. And so it's a lot about being bold, showing your colors, being creative, being out there in a way like spring is right now. And so it's always with the astrology I propose is about being in alignment with these natural laws and cycles of nature. And that makes us happier and is actually um, the way the way to live, right? The way to be is being in tune. So now we are from the moon side in the waxing phase before the full moon. So the moon is still in Virgo today. And but tomorrow is 4/4 and the moon will enter Libra at 2:31 p.m. and be in Libra for fullness on Wednesday evening here on the West Coast at 9:34 p.m., which is then 34 minutes after midnight Eastern, and of course also on the 6th of April, anywhere from East Coast to Europe, Asia, Australia, right? So most of the world, the full moon will be on April 6th, but it's energetically the same moment in time and the same degree. So the Libra full moon, as I said, has a lot to do with peace, harmony versus war, and there's a lot to balance, right? So each full moon itself has, in a way, a Libra undertone because it's a lot about balance of polarities, um, oppositions. So it's a relatedness, and people who are born under full moon often deal a lot with relationships in their lives. I mean, any opposition brings it up, but especially full moon, sort of the mother of oppositions. I don't have the exact title for the full moon yet. I'm in the process of writing for her, and yeah, I'll post that blog article link on my Facebook page. And those of you who receive the email Astro News will receive it also in time, in perfect time. And then the moon goes into Scorpio on the 6th of April in the evening, 11:20 p.m., and will be in Scorpio on Good Friday. What a timing! Saturday before Easter until Easter Sunday, 5:57 a.m., when the moon goes over the Phoenix point into Sag, which is also a resurrection energy. What an alignment with a Christian um, celebration and timing of the year for this full moon. Also, Easter is actually, as far as I know, the only holiday in Christianity that is aligned with the moon because it's always celebrated on the Sunday after the first full moon in spring, which is in this case April 5th, 6th. So typically at Easter, the moon would have gone from Libra to Scorpio to Sagittarius. Actually, nice alignment, right? So it seems like the church knew a little bit about astrology also. And at the same time, also would have hijacked for the timing of it all. I'm not talking about the actual historic Jesus and his passion. Passion, I don't even like that word so much, right? Because passion in our culture here has to do with, yay, I'm alive, everything is great. But passion literally means suffering, right? It's a passive word in Latin language. There are some active and passive words. So to suffer and to die are passive words, pati and mori. Yeah, that's another story. But anyway, this is about the Christian timing of Easter and has to do, of course, also with Passover. And Passover in the Jewish tradition starts with the full moon, sundown of the full moon, of April 5th, 6th. So not sure where it will be celebrated, when it will be celebrated in Israel and different parts of the Jewish culture of planet Earth. But it is also seems like Easter is always celebrated just after Passover as well, which all goes with the gospel. And yes, the post full moon in Sag right on Easter Sunday and Easter Monday as well. What else is going on? Yes, for Mercury in Taurus in general, the motto I gave there is that the inquiry, especially since Mercury will go retrograde, in terms of what do you truly enjoy and value, which are two themes for Taurus. Not so much from the head and ego, but actually from the heart, because Mercury retro coming up, Mercury retro always brings us back from the head to the heart to consciousness. And yeah, that's it. So the last piece is on April 10th, the Monday next week. Venus will enter Gemini until May 7th. I haven't written about it yet, but I'm getting the sense it has a lot to do with lightness, with alchemy, with love. So let's propose the alchemy of love and lightness for Venus in Gemini. Brings us already energetically closer to summer solstice, but we're nowhere near weather-wise here. Spring has only just begun, but we need also some lightness, which in this case comes through Venus and also the air element, now represented by Pluto in Aquarius. The moon, the full moon in Libra, nothing else in Libra at this point in these months, and also nothing yet in Gemini. So it is a beautiful balance also for the air element. I wish you well for this week as it's getting a little darker, and it's beautiful because it's already almost 8 o'clock and there's still daylight out there. Be well, have a beautiful full moon and Easter week, and you can find me here on this channel again next week on Monday, Tuesday latest. Bye bye. Take care.